portion. So it's a whole new world. It is a whole new world when you have a small business. Now, why do I want you to have a small business? Tax write-offs. Remember that Seinfeld episode? I love to talk about this. That Kramerica, when Kramer set up his own little company, and he took that big ball of oil, and he's like, "We're going to create this bladder for ships, Jerry." And he took that bladder of oil and threw it out his window, and he had his own little intern follow him around, Kramerica. Remember that in that episode in the scene? He's like, "Jerry, everybody needs a business. It's a write-off. It's a write-off." And everybody writes it off. And Jerry's like, "Well, you don't even know what a write-off is." Hey, all the corporations do it. You just need a company. You don't even, And they're just debating what a write-off was. It was awesome. The point here is that as a CPA, here's my goal. What I want us to do is I really need us to be thinking above the line and below the line. And I know that sounds a little odd here. If you're sitting around a cocktail party and talking to a CPA, you can get him to open up in a heartbeat by just saying, "Tell me what above the line and below the line means." This is the line. This start right here in your 1040, down here in the bottom right-hand corner. What's that name of that number? What is it called? Your AGI. What's that stand for? Adjusted gross income. This is the line. So if you ever want to, again, get a CPA to start talking to you that's ignoring you, say, "Tell me what's above the line and below the line." Any expense above the line is awesome. Any expense below the line sucks. It doesn't do me any good. So many people pay taxes and then pay for things below the line. So I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to pay taxes and then pay for all these expenses. I want you to pay for things above the line. That's where it gets powerful. So, for example, say you've got a small business. I don't care. Maybe it's selling jeans on eBay. Maybe you are doing fix and flips in real estate. Maybe you're doing a little landscaping business. You're doing some consulting. You're doing some services. Get a little invention. I don't care. If you start any sort of small business, you can now convert. My goal is to convert personal expenses to valid business expenses. This is the goal. And there's personal expenses that now they morph into business expenses. Think of your cell phone. I love to tell this example. I may be out in an intensive and talk about this too, but how many of you in the room have a cell phone with your day job that your boss doesn't pay for? Your company doesn't pay for your cell phone? Anybody? Okay, cool. Several hands in the room, right? That could be if you got the smartphone with all the data and you've got your texting unlimited and you've got all the minutes you need, and you could be blowing a couple $100 a month, right? Oh, for 5 lines, $600 a month. There you go. Oh my gosh, I should use that example. Wow. Well, I'm going to use her example. Let's run with it. So $600. Let's see if we do the math here. So $600 a month in cell phone bills for the family. Okay, so 600 times 12. Woo! That's $7,200 a year. Sorry, this is making you sick, all right? That's $7,200 a year in cell phone charges that people will pay taxes and then just pay for their cell phone. Even if our single guys here or whatever gals or you're paying a couple $100 a month, we pay taxes and pay for our cell phone. But if you have a small business, I can take that cell phone because the family's all involved in the business. We're all working on the projects, the real estate, the books, whatever we need to do. The family's involved. Now I can write those cell phones off as a business expense. $7,200 write-off above the line before your adjusted gross income. Now, if you're in a 30% bracket, that's 25 Fed, 5 state. Someone do the math there. So 0.3 times 7,200 would be about 2,300? 2,300. So I'll just go 2,300. We just saved $2,300 in taxes. You're getting a refund now of $2,300 if you paid in. You're saving this much in taxes because you have a small business and everybody needs to be on it. So we're converting personal expenses to business expenses. And don't get me started. You could be doing cell phone, travel, dining, entertainment, home office, PDAs, laptops, the kids, the spouse, the auto, the RV, the motorcycle, the houseboat, the four-wheelers, I don't know. What expenses are you incurring to run your business? And we're going to maybe take a portion. I want everybody to know we're going to be cautious. We're going to look at the cell phones, and if there's a certain amount of personal use and one of the kids or the family members is not as involved, we're not going to take an entire 100% write-off for all that cell phone, but maybe 20% or 60 or 80 or 90 or 20, whatever. The point is look at all these expenses. This is why when we sit down to do the tax return and we're looking at the risk tolerance here, we're going to go, hey, give me everything you got. What is related? There's no list at the IRS that says here's what a write-off is. It's Code Section 62 that says any expense incurred in the production of income. Let me repeat that. Any expense incurred in the production of income.